Hi, this is Geekmeister from the Geek for All show. What you're about to watch is uncensored, unscripted, and possibly unethical. We hope you enjoy the Unofficial Stoned Sesh. What up?
Hello.
We are back. Professor Weirdfuck, Geekmeister, coming at you from the Geekmeister's parents' house. Anyway, so as nerdy boys living with their parents should do, we are going to talk Batman and Superman.
Woo!
We're going to talk Dawn of Justice. We're going to do it right.
A lot of people fucking hated it.
Yeah, a lot of people hated it. And look, I'm going to get this right out of the way. I am upset that it wasn't fantastic. Because as long as we've been waiting for a film like this,
it should be amazing.
It should be amazing, and it was not. So I understand the hatred on that level, but we're going to try to play this fair and really give it a review as both a just pure film and a comic book narrative.
Well, what do you say we do this kind of interesting then?
Okay.
What if we start doing like going back and forth, a bad thing and a good thing?
All right, I like it. Let's play it like that. So let's start with a bad thing then.
All right. You want to kick off this bad thing?
All right. Let's start with where I think things start kind of going wrong. Batman was not nearly the detective he should have been.
No, he was not as much of a detective. There was one scene where... Are we going with spoilers? I mean, it's an unofficial Stoned Sesh, so I mean, we usually go with spoilers.
We're going to go ahead and do a spoilers alert on this one. Yeah. I've seen spoilers like crazy for this film across the internet anyway. We'll throw the spoilers alert up on this one, but...
I don't think that many people care about spoilers for this one.
Yeah, for this one, I don't think people mind so much because I think everyone who was really, really determined to see it has seen it, and everyone else is like, well, do I want to go see it? And we'll tell you the reasons to go see it and the reasons to not go see it. And honestly... spoiling the plot is not a reason to not go see it because the plot was... We'll get to that, though. Yeah. Right now we're talking about Batman was not the detective he should have been.
Correct. So, I mean, there's that one scene where he's at the Lex Corp fundraiser party or whatever. Mm-hmm. Whatever kind of party it was. And all he did was go do some science... He plugged a science thing into another science thing. And it was like pretty much plugging a phone into a charger. He had to leave.
It seemed like Alfred had more of a sense of what was going on about that than
Bruce
did.
Yeah, I know. And I don't know. He wasn't doing as much detecting.
The detecting was not there.
Yeah.
Now,
he was on his computer though.
That being said, on the good side of things, Ben Affleck made a solid Batman.
Ben Affleck,
way to go!
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So. What I liked about it, he was the older and more cynical and broodier Batman. He did a great job capturing that. Just all around, just like his mannerisms and how he talked. He was a rough, tough, older Bruce Wayne.
Yep.
That's for sure.
No, he was doing some badass shit there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a really solid acting piece from Affleck, I gotta say. It was there were some good moments.
Oh yeah.
And there was some weak dialogue going on in this film, and he made some weak dialogue sound pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So, and that was, honestly, that was one of my biggest fears about this film was that Affleck was going to suck as Batman, and not at all, not even a little bit did that wind up becoming a thing.
No, he did a great job. He had more character than Superman did, but okay. Anyway, Ben Affleck. Good job.
Good job.
All right.
So you want to do it? Okay. So you're a negative, positive. What do we got?
All right. Negative. There is still no chemistry between Superman and Lois. It's appalling. It's this is a Superman-focused movie, so Superman should, with his love interest, have a big tie. Their characters are there, but they have no depth.
Yeah, and honestly, because in a lot of the ways of the lack of depth with that, and even some of just the writing behind it, there are moments when Superman goes to save Lois, it doesn't seem kind. It seems really selfish.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, it is. That is his one link to humanity because he's so in love with her. Well, that and I guess his mom, but it does seem selfish when he goes to do that, but at the same time, it kind of fits because that's his girl.
It is, but Superman always found a way of saving Lois, like making her a priority, but he always kind of put her at the same level as the rest of the situation.
Oh, okay.
Like he just you know what I mean? Like now, I'm sure there are examples and times where he had to like make that choice and stuff, but I believe the times where he's had to make that choice have gone both ways, and for the most part, he usually finds a way to save the day and save Lois at the same time.
Yeah.
Because Superman is not an idiot. He's not as smart as Batman is.
No.
But he's close. He's pretty fucking clever.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
very, very intelligent.
Absolutely.
He cracked his own genome, and that's not just for Man of Steel. Like, that's a comic book thing. Like, he cracked his own people's genome. He is a smart motherfucking dude.
Yeah.
So, you know... But anyway, but yeah, the chemist... So what a good thing, though.
Oh, good thing. So, Batman is scary. They actually make Batman creepy.
Yep.
So here's the thing. Over the past course of all these Batman movies, yes, they've done a decent job of, like, kind of striking a fearful thing, but it's also kind of ridiculous, like, in a sense. I mean... Tim Burton, he's known for doing dark, broody stuff, but with his Michael Keaton Batman, yeah, it is dark, but there's still bright yellow.
And it's cartoony in many ways.
It is cartoony in many ways, but, you know, Michael Keaton did a great job as, like, a dark Batman. He let the suit do the work.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck's Batman in this, how they portray him, the first time you see him, he's hanging out in the corner of a ceiling and scurries away on the ceiling to get out while getting fired at. It's just so creepy. It's like dimly lighting.
It was super Batman and it was awesome. He looked very creature-esque. You can understand like why criminals would be scared of something like that. It's just like,
They called those, like, that scene, he's saving that family, and they were, that Hispanic family, and they were calling him Monster. The monster's up there. And it's just so good. And then he gets into this thing with bat branding. Branding criminals, that's pretty much like a death mark when they go to prison. Like, they go to prison, they're pretty much dead if they have
and the thing is, he doesn't do it to all criminals. There's some criminals he just captures and stuff, and then when he leaves the bat brand on, he's like, what did you do that Batman got upset enough to fucking put, like, a mark on you?
Yeah.
And it usually is something, like, again, like kidnapping, like a innocent group of people, or like rape or something like that. Like, they've made it very clear that, like, he did that to people who he wanted to see get fucking dead. He just didn't want to pull the trigger.
Yeah. And and also, this Batman, while we're on this, like, whole creepy factor, not only is he creepy, he's fucking ruthless. This Batman is, like I mentioned earlier, he is an older, cynical Batman. His code, everyone's bitching about how he's willy-nilly with the machine guns, doesn't care about killing those people. No, he fucking doesn't.
He doesn't. Silver Age comics. Check your shit. Batman uses guns. In fact, the whole I will not kill anybody thing was kind of a Nolan thing.
No, not necessarily.
It was not entirely. But Nolan was the one who, like, really focused on it.
It was a big focus in the comics, too, because that was the whole thing between him and Joker. Like, a big thing with him and Joker is, like, why won't you kill me? How Joker has done so many terrible things to him and his family.
Yes, but Joker is different because he wants Batman to kill him.
Well, yeah, but Batman doesn't, like, that's his code, and Batman, like, he's trying to, the whole point is he's trying to press Batman's code.
I suppose.
So his code is kind of a big deal in the comics, but still, there's a time in the comics where Batman is older, and his code is kind of loose.
Right.
Like, unhinged a little bit.
And that's the thing, like, I'm sorry, I misspoke, like, more of my point was not that he wouldn't necessarily kill, or that he would go out of his way to kill people, per se, but he wouldn't necessarily, like, avoid people's death and stuff, and he would, like, like defend himself ultimately.
Yeah.
Like he would wind up killing people defending himself.
Yeah.
Is the thing in the comic books, where in the Nolan verse he was like super against like even trying to defend himself, killing someone.
Right, and that's what
that's where it was a little bit different in the Nolan verse.
Yeah.
But and even like in where he would normally do it, like in the '90s animated cartoon series, there's like a moment, like there's a couple of times where they don't show him kill somebody, but he says something like really creepy, and then like Constantine is just like, he just was nowhere to be found, and Batman's just standing over and just like does the squinty eye thing. It's like, oh, you fucking killed that dude. Now, granted, one of these guys was like a pedophile. I remember I think there was two of them that he did something like that too. I don't remember what the second one was, but the first one was a pedophile, basically. Like it was inferred that he was kidnapping kids and like was going to, do stuff to them, and so Batman killed him. So like that's the thing. Like he's always been a bit more flexible in the comics than they made him in the Nolan verse.
Right.
Nolan really, really focused in on that in a way that I don't think had been done like that before. Like he really, really made it a big point. Where as the biggest hero to probably do that to that degree would have been Daredevil, because that is Daredevil's thing. Straight up.
Yeah.
But anyway, we did Daredevil last week. We'll move on from that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, good thing, bad thing.
Okay, good thing, bad thing. Okay, I can do another one in the same topic. Lex Luthor is both a good and bad thing. That's the thing. He's both a good and bad thing.
He's not Lex Luthor, but he has his name.
And the thing is, it would have all been fine if they didn't really try to force the Lex Luthor connection so much.
Yeah.
And I would have really appreciated it if they had gone more by like Lex Jr. or just Jr. or even like Alex or something like that. Yeah. Now there is a comic series, one that I was able to find, because I wanted to look it up to see if there was like stuff about like Lex's son who was also named Lex and stuff. And there is, that I found one comic series. And it's still not what Jesse Eisenberg was doing. It was very different. He had short hair. He was not quite as finicky. He was a little bit more insane, a little bit more in the Jesse Eisenberg direction. But it wasn't...
But not that much.
But not that much.
No.
And so... And again, they were really trying to force the Lex Luthor connection, and it's just like, just make him another dude. Because he was a really awesome villain in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
He was really cool.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing about movies, with these movies, how they depict characters. I want them to make me, like, have an interest in the characters I weren't interested in the comics as much, typically. Like, let's say Thor, for instance, as far as Marvel goes. Mm-hmm. Did I have any interest in Thor? No, I fucking hated Thor. I still kind of hate Thor. But I hate him a little less because, like, I actually, got to see a good portrayal of it.
Chris Hemsworth is a pretty good Thor.
Absolutely. Who can say no to him?
I mean, he is dreamy. Like, no, he is not handsome. He is dreamy.
He is a hunk. But anyway, regardless. So, what I wanted, like, Lex Luthor, like, there's a whole bunch of characters of comics just like that where I didn't really have an interest in, but a movie portrayal of them. Doc Ock, he was great. Like Spider-Man 2, Sam Raimi's, like, it was awesome. Made me feel for him.
Really, really good. Although I did like Doc Ock from the comics and the cartoons and everything like that. But I can see what you're talking about. Like, they really, really
just
did
like
a
characters
good job
I wouldn't typically have an interest on. Like, but like with Lex, like I did have an interest with him. I was interested in him, but I don't know if DC is trying to, like, do their own universe where it's a little mix of, like, inspiration of different universes, which is okay. I'm kind of okay with that. Do your own thing, because then it still gives us the sense, like, a surprise. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
And, like, I really don't think that these movies are going to be set in a linear formation. I think they're going to jump around. Like,
I would certainly hope so. I want to get, like, some prequel films going on and stuff.
That would be different.
I want the timeline to make a little bit more sense than the way that they've been trying to. Because I'm going to still say, I think they're rushing Justice League. I think they're rushing to Justice League. We'll get onto like the way that played into the movie in a little bit, but I think they're rushing to Justice League. I think they should have planned to do Justice League in 2020.
Right.
That's my opinion. Justice League should have been a 2020 film.
They just fast-tracked it. They just fast-tracked it, but, you know, I really wish we had a standalone Batman for this Batman, just so we got a feel for what kind of Batman we're getting ourselves into.
Yeah.
But this way... Anyway, okay, we'll get to this in a minute, actually. We're just trailing off Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
You know, I believe they did confirm that Bryan Cranston was a possible choice for Lex Luthor. That would have brought, like, Bryan Cranston's acting, I think, would have brought me, like, to that interested point.
Oh, God. Like, Bryan Cranston is like... I want them to go back in time and just do Bryan Cranston as Lex Sr., with Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Jr., or whatever, somehow do that. God damn it, Bryan Cranston as Lex Luthor? Are you kidding me? How did none of us see that before? It's fucking perfect.
You know what really sucks about this, though? Is that this movie takes place how long after Man of Steel?
Well, that's the thing. A lot of time passes during this film. Like, fuckload of time. When if you like pay attention to like the time lapse of time, it'll take this so long to this, next to this, and then a week, and then a month, and like 4 months later, and then like, so it starts actually the first initial action starts actually during the end of Man of Steel, and then it jumps to 18 months afterward. And then there's like again, like I said, like about 30 minutes into the movie, or not even 30, like 15 minutes in the movie, we're like, now 2 years instead of 18 months. And, it just keeps going like that. Like, a lot of time. I don't know how much time passes exactly, but, like, I would say from the, like, start of, like, the 18 years later till the end of the film, at least a year has to have passed with all the shit that, like, goes down that you see happening and, like, the montages that they do and everything. Like, fucking crazy amount of time passes during this film. Yeah. So depending on what part of the film we're talking about, anywhere from, like, 2 to 3 years after the events of Man of Steel.
Oh, okay. So it's a good thing that it's not directly afterwards, because they do have that gap.
Yeah.
They do have that gap.
The gap
to fill in.
Yeah. And I'll say this, starting, and here's the crazy thing, I still don't feel like Man of Steel. They might be working
backwards. Honestly,
maybe
that might be their thing.
Maybe I don't know exactly what all the plans are. Or maybe like all of the movies are going to have like tie-ins back to like that 18-month period. Because somehow Lex Luthor knows about all of the superheroes basically that are going to be in Justice League. Yeah. Like he's got tabs on Wonder Woman, he's got tabs on Cyborg, he's got tabs on the Flash, and he's got tabs. Who's the fourth one? Aquaman. He's got tabs on Aquaman. And apparently designed all of their symbols. Question mark. What? Okay. So weird.
Cool computer drive icons.
All right. So okay. Anyway, basically, summary of Lex Luthor. He's both good and bad thing because they try to draw him back to Lex too much and try to be like, yeah, he's our universe's Lex Luthor. No, he's not. He's not. Your universe's Lex Luthor died, and this is his son, and he's taking up like that mantle and position.
Yeah.
And I wish that they would draw to that a little bit more. I think that would have been a stronger choice to just be like, we're doing a new villain that is in the spirit of Lex Luthor, because his overarching plans were in the spirit of Lex Luthor. Just none of his personal actions or lines or, like the way that he did things was Lex Luthor at all. It was a very different feel. Yeah. But his overarching plans and stuff still felt Lex. So I can understand the spirit of Lex going on, but I think they did way too much to try to draw him back to being like Lex. Like, let him be his own thing and just feel that spirit.
Yeah.
And maybe in their opinion they have done that, but I feel like they tried to draw back to Lex too much. So anyway, good and bad. Or bad and good, I guess is the order we've been doing it.
Let's see. Bad. The editing. Okay.
Yeah.
So, as far as movie placement, as like scene placement wise, I don't know why it was done this way. If the guy was on speed or something, working late one night, and they were like, this is as good as we're going to get it. Or Zack Snyder was just like, I don't care, I'm counting my money. But there are parts. Okay, I knew what was happening throughout the entire movie. I understood what was going on.
Okay, did you actually at the beginning of the dream sequence? Did you get confused at that point? Because I was fucking confused at that point before we figured out that it was a dream.
No, I kind of figured it was a dream sequence.
Okay, I was sitting there going like, "What the fuck am I watching?" Granted, I was watching Awesomeness. We'll get to that potentially in a little bit. But okay, but you followed that along, so fair enough.
Yes. But anyway, okay, so like I said, I knew what was happening throughout the entire movie. However, how it was edited and how jumbled all these scenes were, and how some scenes were only like 30 seconds long, and then they cut to something else.
And then we'll cut back to it.
I knew what was going on throughout the entire movie, but at the same time, there were parts where there were just moments where I just felt, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, it was really bizarre. Like you follow the plot more or less. I got confused at there's this one dream sequence that happens, or maybe it's not a dream sequence. They're setting up two illusions of I think definitely Injustice and potentially Flashpoint. But there's a whole dream sequence that alludes to that, and I was confused at that point. But other than that. Which I think he maybe even almost wanted you to be confused as to what the fuck was going on at that moment and why things were happening the way they were. You could follow the plot, but you still, you felt disoriented the whole time. You follow the plot, but you felt like you were chasing it the whole time, I think, is the way that it was. Like, you felt like you were... Okay, so the South Park episode where he plays Heroin Hero and he's like chasing the dragon and he can never quite catch the dragon, but he gets like really close. That was what like following this plot was like.
Yep. Well, I enjoyed it though. All right, so that was a bad thing.
That's a bad thing.
Good thing. Cinematography, feel in general of the entire movie. Zack Snyder, if he's good at one thing, it's cinematography, it's style, it's just storyboarding, it's just giving you the right feel that you want. It's giving DC its own defining vibe.
Yes.
Rather than Marvel's vibe that it gives off. Marvel is bright and vibrant, not necessarily saying it's good for kids, but it's still, like, more colorful.
It is. It totally is. And it's, it's definitely got it's got its humor figured out. I think they're trying to find some humor in the DC one, but they haven't figured out their style of that. But they're definitely going for something other than the way that Marvel does, like, their humor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I do appreciate the fact that they're trying to find their own footing in that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've noticed in modern DC comics, like, some coming out recently are trying to be more humorous and more colorful or loud with their humor and stuff, like Marvel. But DC, as far as I know, has always been, like, whenever there was humor, it was dry.
I think that's the thing. I think that's what they have to get to.
That's what they need to do. It's got to be dry humor.
Yeah.
Because DC has always been, it's Detective Comics. It's always been kind of more serious, more human. I mean, yes, they do have characters that are out of this world and stuff like this, but
Plastic Man was a thing.
Yes. I'm aware.
Never forget Plastic Man.
Came before Mr. Fantastic.
But I will agree. Like, I think in general, Marvel is a little bit more colorful than DC is. And I think DC
has more of a darker tone to it. It really does.
Yeah. And let's say something clear, though. When we say darker, we mean darker. Like, just kind of, like, a little sadder and, like, a little bit more, like, dreary. Not more adult. Like, seriously, I'm sick of seeing these. I'm like, oh, well, you just didn't handle the adultness of blah, 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 blah. That's not what it's about.
No.
Marvel has some amazingly adult things, especially in their TV series going on, like we talked about last week. And anyway, I'm just sick of those arguments, so I just wanted to point that out real quick. And also, to your comment about the editor, I'm sorry to backtrack, but I wanted to mention one thing. To the editor of Batman vs. Superman, you let Lex Luthor slap Clark Kent in the chest and then decided that it was a good idea to leave his lapel mic on for that. Why? Why did that happen? Why did I hear a lapel mic getting smacked?
I wouldn't be surprised if that was Zack Snyder's call.
Whoever made that call. Dude, I know you wanted him to hear the chest slap. Put the boom mic over it. You were at an okay angle. It was a little bit high, but I think you could have managed.
Yeah.
Use the boom mic, get him to really thud that shit. And don't hit the mic. I can hear the mic, dude! I can hear the mic! Maybe not everybody could, but I think there's enough people out there who have used microphones enough before that it was just like...
No, no.
What?
I agree. I agree. It was very apparent, but like when we first exited the theater, when we saw it, like you're like, dude, like, are you as pissed off at that editor as I am? And I was pissed off at the fact that it was all so jumbled. I'm like, yeah, I really am. And he was like, did you notice that lapel mic? I'm like, what? And you were just really pissed about that.
That